Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing? What are we doing here? It's a good question. What are we doing here? What you're witnessing in front of your very eyes right now, this is something I typically do for my patrons. For everyone that's supporting on Patreon, we will do these live streams. We will do these live commentaries while I go back on older videos. I let them vote. I let them decide, hey, what video do we want to talk about now? And I go back and I watch a video that I have already done, and then we hop into it, and I tell you some stuff that didn't make it in. I tell you some goofy stuff that you may not have noticed the first time watching, and it's just kind of a good time. And but today I'm doing it for the entire channel because about twice a year I want to go ahead and do one of these little promo streams where I let y'all know, hey, this exists, and it's fun, and you should enjoy it, and you should come check it out. Patreon, $1 a month gets you in, and you can enjoy these with everybody else. It's a lot of fun. How y'all doing, man? Let me go ahead and check out the chat and see who's here. Philly Woody, what's going on? I see you, my guy. We got Typical Gamer, Captain Kelso, Mouse, Edis Fetus. That's a great name. We have, I think I said Mouse already. The Dance Guy, Thick Memes, Gene, Immortal Nair, user is taken. How did I not know how to? I didn't even know how to say user, not Oozer. Informator, is my mic on? I hope my mic is on. I hope I haven't been talking. Yeah, it's okay. It's on. We're good. We got Asian Hipster, we got One-Eyed Pineapple, we got Ben Crandall, Art Love, Typical Gamer, Edis Fetus again, Jack Hound, Crustless, The Dance Guy. My God, there's 210. God damn. All right, I wasn't expecting that. The last time I did this, let me move this notification. I just realized the chat's over here, so let me put it down here. That'll help. Yeah, so yeah, I've never done this to this many people before. I think the most I've ever had in a stream was on Twitch the first night that I ever went live on Twitch, and it was like 150, I think it got to. It's pretty wild. How's everybody doing? I hope your Thursday is just going swimmingly. I hope it's been incredibly not shitty. That's what I always wish for folks. But anyways, today we're here to talk about the Fourth Wall video. Obviously, the Fourth Wall video is a video that has sent the channel, I don't want to say into the stratosphere. What are the other spheres? I don't know what they are. I don't know what the order is. Whatever. This Fourth Wall video is done really well. It's at like 2.3 million views right now, which is absurd. I think I have another video that might be on the way there. That's the Lavender Town video, which is kind of blows my mind. It makes me very happy because as a fan of just the internet, Lavender Town meant a lot to me. It was a chapter of internet culture that is just beautiful. So anyways, we're here to talk about Lavender. We're here to talk about the Fourth Wall video, and I do have that ready here. Let me go ahead and get it pulled up for y'all. Which button is which? Nope, wrong one. There we go. Cool, here it is. A lot of different thumbnails. So YouTube has this really goofy thing, as you can see here. I have like 5 of the same thumbnail. YouTube has this thing where it won't let you upload a thumbnail. Why do you keep beeping at me? Stop beeping at me every time I hit a button. What is the problem? Oh, is it because I had that clicked? YouTube has this thing where a thumbnail can't be over, like, I think it's like 2 megabytes or something. There's a certain size. So I made this thumbnail, and then it said it's too big. So I had to like darken the background. And each time I do that, the background gets a little bit more dark. It was really staticky at first, and then eventually it became this like almost black backdrop because the YouTube thumbnail won't let you upload a certain size. So that's a thing that I go through every video almost, where I upload a thumbnail, the background's no good. So it is what it is. Yeah, Doki Doki Yuri Windows says no, the game screws me in the head though. Thought my PC was beeping. Yeah, it's me. Sorry about the beeping. I gotta get that fixed. 2MB. Yeah, exactly. The Stellar J. 2MB. Yeah, it's so frustrating. It is what it is. But the Fourth Wall video, what I'm gonna do, the way this works, guys, we're gonna watch the video. I'm gonna pause at certain moments. I try not to pause too much. I actually got to get through the video. I'm technically at work right now. This is my lunch break because I have a day job besides YouTube. I'm not at that level yet. I don't have that level of following or monetization. So we're getting there. We're getting there. But for right now, yeah, I'm still working. I'm at a lunch break. So I watch the video, I pause, you guys have questions if I see them. Since there's so many people, I mean, I don't want to sit here and be like, use the super chat, but if you have a really burning question, I may not see it unless you do. I'm gonna try to check the chat as often as I can because half of the fun of this is answering your questions about the video. So I watch the video, I pause it to tell you some stuff that I know about the video, maybe you don't. Afterwards, we go and we look at maybe what didn't make it in the video, maybe we look at some comments, and we go from there, and it's just sort of having a good time. So, it's the scariest game I've played. I don't know, man. I haven't actually played a lot of scary games. I don't do scares very good, to be real with you. I'm kind of a wuss like that. Stop beeping at me. God, why is it beeping? What is your problem? All right, I'm gonna try not to hit the buttons too much because for some reason my computer wants to beep at me today. So without further ado, fourth wall video. Enough stalling. Let me turn this music off real quick, or at least get it low enough to where you can't hear it, and then we will get this puppy going. So let me rewind to the beginning here. Without further ado, the fourth wall video. By far my most popular video, by far a video that gave me tons of trouble, and you'll see why here in a minute. So let's hop into it, and here we go. I'm excited. You excited? I think the volume on it is good. Here, let me jump to the middle real quick and just make sure that the... To enjoy, detest, manipulate, or make fun of characters. All right, and is the volume good on that? Let me do a quick audio check. A luxury you don't exactly have with your family because they have feelings and notice... Stop it. All right, real quick, just gonna do audio check to make sure. Is the volume good on that? Let me do a quick audio check. A luxury you don't exactly have with your family because they have feelings. Stop it. All right. Yeah, looks good. I'll take it. All right, did I finish all the finals on Hollow Knight? Bastian Gutierrez, I did not actually. I got to the I haven't done the DLC stuff, the Grim Nightmare. I haven't actually beat Radiance, but I saw the ending. At some point, I probably will go back. And, you know, once all my muscle memory is gone and it's like 12 times harder, at some point I will go back. But for now, I'm good. I feel like the experience of Hollow Knight was the journey, not the ending. So, well, maybe one day I'll go back. But for right now, I think I'm done with Hollow Knight. I got some other stuff to play. I got to finish up Ghost of Tsushima. I want to play Nier before the year is over. I got to play Hyrule Warriors, the new one that's coming out. So there's too much going on. So without further ado, the fourth wall video. All right, let's just stop it right there. I want y'all to take a close look at this. Do you see anything wrong in the word following? Just go ahead and read the word following real quick and tell me if there's anything going on. What's going on, Traven? Anything peculiar about the word following there? Yeah, the video has 2.3 million views. And yeah, there's a typo, like the first few seconds. And I think that's not the only one. I'm pretty sure there's one later in the video. But actually, it's funny, this kind of supports the point of I tried to make another video about automaticity. So there's a video I made on automaticity about speedrunning. If you haven't already noticed it, if you haven't watched it yet, there's a whole section at the beginning about how it's hard to notice how many O's, or excuse me, how many F's are in the sentence. And the reason is because your mind is so automatic, it literally just sees a jumble of letters in sort of a right order, and it doesn't even process the individual letters. So a couple people notice this, most people don't, but my most popular freaking video that I have has a massive typo at the beginning. So now that that's out of the way, let's continue. Also, spoilers for a couple things. But if you've seen the video, you already know what's in it. A few years back, there was a special that ran on BBC called The Experiments with Darren Brown. On one particular episode, Darren held a game show called Remote Control, where the audience the Stellar J, thank you so much for the thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, there it is. I have a notification thing that comes through. This is Monica busting through the fourth wall. Stellar J busting in with $2. Same for the web Photoshop, small size, same quality. Same for web. Okay, so that's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you, Stellar J. I'll keep that in mind. All right. If we get too many of these, I may have to mute the notifications, but that was okay. I don't mind one or two. To conceal their identity, were given complete control of a random gentleman's evening via hidden cameras and planted actors around him, all hired. Oh, this was so fucked, right? The man's name was Chris, and as the evening progressed, the audience was given choices by majority vote of causing either a good thing to happen to him, like winning a new TV, or a bad thing, like getting falsely accused of groping a woman. Can you imagine a more like sinking in your gut feeling than being accused of that?
You just touched me up.
And without fail, the audience would continually make Chris's evening a living nightmare by picking the unfavorable circumstance every single time. No, sir. He was overcharged by the bartender, had a drink spilled on him, got accused of shoplifting, and was quite literally arrested. Yeah, to be clear, Chris is the only one not in on this whole thing. He was not paid. Everybody else is an actor. Everyone else is in on it. And I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure they reimbursed him at the end with like a TV. I'm sure they probably like followed up with him too and was like, let me explain everything.
The longer you watch, the more uncomfortable you feel as the curtain of comedy is slowly pulled back and it becomes hard to ignore just how sinister the audience's decisions truly are. All seemingly because they are able to hide behind a mask and blend into the crowd.
Creepy masks, dude. That didn't help.
This experiment is about the mob mentality that emerges when we can act anonymously and as part of a crowd. Experiment. So tonight's experiment is about the mob mentality that emerges when we can act anonymously and as
Are you sure about that?
Granted, despite the name of this show,
When I discovered that John Cena green screen thing, I just wanted to put it in everything. I loved it.
was not an experiment.
No, it wasn't.
There was no control group, and
Yeah, so for this to actually have been an experiment, a couple things would have had to have happened. Number one, it would have had to have been they would have had to have a group with masks and without masks to see if the people without masks also made the terrible decisions, right? In theory, you would think they wouldn't, right? You'd think, oh, well, I don't have a face on. I'm not going to be this malicious. In reality, I think because it was a mob, they probably still would have been pretty mean about it. But the masks, more than likely, again, we don't know for sure. But if my educated guess is yes, the mask probably would make you a little bit more sinister.
group, and by making light of Chris's evening, framing the whole
And he
thing
egged it on,
as
too.
a game show and subtly egging them on, Darren Brown is almost certainly influencing the audience's decision.
Thank you,
keep on
Traven.
heckling poor Chris.
Hope you're doing well, man.
Now, don't get me wrong. When folks feel like they are anonymous, we do typically feel less responsibility for our actions and may even be more willing to follow questionable instructions. Like, there was a study done back in '69 by Philip Zimbardo.
All right, before I get into this study, I mentioned here that this study was by Philip Zimbardo. There are so many people, and I hope some of you fuckers are watching. There are so many people that come at me and say, actually, the shock experiment was Milgram. It was a Milgram experiment. He was the one that did the shock. Zimbardo did the prison experiment, and that's right. But this is a variation of that study. This is a shock experiment, but the added variable is hooded, so anonymous, versus ID'd, very not anonymous. It was testing to see whether anonymity had any effect on whether or not you'd follow someone of authority. The original study was just to see how much authority affects people, but this actually added an entire variable around it. So I hope that clears things up in case you were watching and had that thought, like, oh, wait a minute,
Do typically feel less responsibility for our actions.
I feel better now.
And may even be more willing to follow questionable instructions. Like, there was a study done back in '69 by Philip Zimbardo, where college students would be more willing to follow instructions to administer bolts of electricity to someone in another room if they were hooded than if they had to perform the shocking with no hood and a name tag on their shirt.
See?
Don't worry, no one was really being shocked, but the subject.
Did I really put a
didn't know
fake-
that, and yet.
Did I really put real electrode for reference? I hate myself sometimes. I look back at these edits and I'm such a child.
Worry, no one was really being shocked, but the subjects didn't know that. And yet,
Hey, in Sky, Night Slays, what's going on, man?
Made them more cruel and obedient. So our friend Darren is tapping into something real with this show, and we're definitely going to be talking about that a bit today. But what I'm ultimately here to discuss is this moment right here on the last segment of the show when the audience decides that they want Chris to get kidnapped.
You know, it's funny you say that, Arena Leon. She said, I like this. It's like I'm listening to a professor who's really into what they're teaching. I actually wanted to be a professor for a long time. And the only thing that stopped me was the fact that my actual job now, I make about as much as I would had I went through 10 more years of school, basically, to get to that point. A bachelor's degree in psychology doesn't let you do much unless you get a master's, but it does qualify you to make a B tier YouTube channel. So that's where I'm at. Also, I kind of want to pause this a couple of times because whenever I played this clip in full on the original video, it got copyrighted. The Mormons tried to take me down. It was some acronym, but somebody recognized the acronym that did the copyright claim as like the Church of Mormons. And so now it's that time that the Mormons tried to take my channel down. So here we are. So this happens. They're laughing, right? He escapes. Daryl pauses to avoid copyright claim because we gotta split it up. I disputed it the first time. I don't want to dispute this again. So, in fact, I may just go ahead and let me mute it. That will help. All right. So he gets hit by a car. Everyone's like, "Oh shit! Oh, he got it." Yeah. See, look at them. They're all freaked out. Everyone's kind of pausing, and now Darren's like, "Uh-oh." He's playing his part, right? Someone says, will the stream be archived? Yes. I'll make it unlisted, but it's going to go on a playlist that is public on my channel. So if you go to my channel, go to Daryl Streams or Daryl Talk Streams or whatever, it will be there. Kusex, thank you so much for that. Play nice, yeah. All right, and then there we go.
Okay,
this is a fun little video.
Chris is totally fine, and although the audience had truly been a real 2020 to him all evening, that last outcome was pre-shot and done with a stuntman dressed just like him.
So Chris is fine.
Chris was delivered safely to his home and given a letter explaining what's been happening to him and that new TV the crowd didn't pick. Darren tells this to the audience and goes on to explain that their decision-making...
Yes, Pizza Pass. I'm sorry. Wait, the Church of Mormon tried to copyright you for a fake game show? It wasn't the Church of Mormons, but it was someone that shared an acronym with them. It was whatever the studio that owned the show was.
So
I disputed it. It got fined.
Because of something called
Video's monetized.
de-individualization. By being thrown...
That's also de-individuation. Either one, it's either or. I've heard it both ways.
To a crowd and slapping on some creepy masks, the audience members have stopped behaving in a way that is socially acceptable and instead just act totally selfishly, or simply go with the flow of the crowd and atmosphere, despite how barbaric that may be. And again, there is truth to this, like I mentioned with the hooded study, and even with something called the online disinhibition effect.
All right, let's pause again. Once again, this video has 2.3 million views. Please read effect and tell me if there's anything wrong. This is the timeline we're in.
Basically states that when online, people tend to act out more frequently or extremely than they would in person because they feel less governed by social niceties or the need to maintain appearances. It's one of the things that makes cyberbullying such a real problem. Anonymity creates a comfort zone, a bubble of safety, a hamster ball of immunity, where we suddenly feel comfortable making decisions we might not make if someone were monitoring us. And it's that comfort zone that the magical fourth wall preserves when we experience a story, be it in a game, a movie, a performance, or even a book.
This is important. So a handful of folks with sharp eyes have seen this part coming up.
Or even a book.
Let me get this. It is very important. I need to distinguish this.
A book.
Ah, shit. Okay. So I can't get it to pause at the right spot. Maybe I can. There it is. Okay. Everyone sees right here on this frame, and not everyone, a handful of people have seen this. This is my desk, and people have said to me, I see that line of, I see that. I mean, I don't want. I'm trying not to get demonetized here. They think this is a line of something that you would use if you were trying to use something. They think this might be an illegal substance of some sort that one might soak up through a straw. That is not what that is. That is I'm looking at it right now. I can't show you because the camera's attached, and I'll post it later if you guys don't believe me. I'll put it on Twitter. This is a scratch. That's a piece of tape. Whenever I pulled up a piece of tape one time, it took up some of the little fake desk on top of it, so it's just there now. So like, I will take a picture and show you guys later. It is not. No, it is not that. It is not Coca-Cola. All right, move on. It's not what it is.
Book. For those that don't know or haven't watched a video on the fourth wall before, which is understandable, they're really hard to find, the fourth wall is an imaginary wall separating the story from the audience. In a traditional story, the characters are interacting independent of anyone watching them and have no idea they're in a fictional world being observed by millions of adoring yet highly opinionated viewers. Much like Chris doesn't know he's on a game show, Harry Potter doesn't know he's part of a multi-million-dollar franchise. And because of this, we the viewers/players are free to enjoy, detest, manipulate, or make fun of characters and events in the show all we like. A luxury you don't exactly have with your family because they have feelings and notice when you're rude or don't laugh at their jokes.
Now let me just say one thing about that. You can have opinion about whatever anime you're watching. You can hate a character. I remember whenever I was watching Darling in the Franxx, and like there was an episode where Ichigo did something really controversial. I won't spoil it. But like people were so pissed about that. And they were so mad at Ichigo, and that's fine. The line is drawn though when you start having that hate towards real people. It's okay for you to anonymously be upset at a fictional character. It's not okay for you to send death threats to the voice actor. All right. Now I will say that's a testament to the voice actress because clearly she did her job well. She played the villain well. And I feel like if you're a wrestler and you're a heel and you're a bad guy in wrestling and you get death threats, you're doing your job, right? You're doing a great job. But at the same time, let's not be assholes because we're anonymous online. Be nice to people, man. That's all I got to say. You can be upset at Harry Potter. You can be upset at whatever character's on screen. But be nice to people, bro. That's all I'm saying. Anyways.
But when someone is behind a screen or on pages, you're free to interact with them however you like, because you aren't really...
Sophia somebody said that Darling in the Franxx is overrated. Overall, as a show, it might be. The first 15 episodes, I was glued on the screen. It didn't stick to finish, but the first 15 episodes truly did have me in the palm of their hand.
Interacting with anyone. It's just pixels or ink, which is what makes breaking the fourth wall and breaking that anonymity such a bizarre sensation.
Oh, that's a good one right there. That's a good edit.
So there's this scene in The Road to Morocco when Bob Hope and Bing Crosby are singing about, well, the road to Morocco, and then make what I believe is the first reference to plot armor in history.
For any villains we may meet.
Oh, did GMTK put a video up? I gotta go check it out in a minute. No, I love this example. It really is like the first plot armor reference ever.
Villains we may meet, we haven't any fear. Paramount will protect us cause we're signed for 5 more years.
And this is the most common form of fourth wall breaking. The meta reference, the inside joke, the wink wink, we know we're in a movie.
You think I'm not supposed to lose? Let me see the script.
I love it.
You see it at the end of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang when RDJ thanks you for watching, in Spaceballs.
I could not find a better quality clip of that. This clip at the end of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is so ugly. But I could not find a better clip. I didn't have a movie.
In Spaceballs when they literally watch their own movie to decide what to do next. In wrestling when John Cena jokes about making a heel turn. In Kid Icarus Uprising.
I love that. That wrestling is one of the finest forms to play with the fourth wall. There's a whole segment where John Cena was making fun of Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns couldn't get the people to like him. He couldn't get over people were not relating to him. He was supposed to be a good guy, but everybody was booing him because they were sick of him. There's a whole promo where John Cena breaks the fourth wall, and he's like, "Go ahead, Roman, finish it. Finish your sentence." And then Roman's like, and he's like, "It's called a promo, son. You got to learn to do it if you're going to be the top dog in this company." It was so visceral. Oh my god, I love wrestling, man. I just do.
When Pitt makes reference to game design and all over the place in Deadpool.
Her. Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Comedy is sort of the first level of fourth wall breaking. It doesn't exactly snap the anonymity of the viewer, but it does make you feel included because the characters are making reference to something that only the audience should know about. The fourth wall is broken, but you're still at a safe distance, and your hamster ball is unscathed. But what if you're minding your own business playing a game, and then this happens?
I'm loving
This is a
AEW,
part
Trey.
out of Batman
Loving
Arkham
AEW.
Asylum where the game crashes, restarts, and has you play as Joker in this surreal.
Yeah, this was twisted, man. This messed me up.
It was Rocksteady's way of making the player feel like they were losing it from Scarecrow's gas, just like Batman was. And if you restarted your console or re-downloaded the game thinking there was a serious problem, you weren't the only one. This is a great example of what is sort of the second level of fourth wall breaking.
I'm resisting the urge to say that when you play a game and it breaks the fourth wall in a clever way, it hits different. But it do. You know what I'm saying? I wish, I made a whole video about this, obviously, but boy, it just really does something different to you.
And the spooky coincidence, the double take goosebumps, for that reason,
I'm out.
these breaks are almost totally exclusive to games because of their inherent interactivity with the player.
Stanley Parable is really cool, by the way. If you haven't played that, definitely go check it out.
Some good examples
A lot of
are
fun,
how
clever
Bravely
little fourth wall
Second and
breaks.
Eternal Darkness appear to erase your save data, or how the latter will turn your volume down even though your dog definitely isn't laying on the remote. How you have to plug your controller
Hold up,
into
wait.
the player 2.
Y'all remember when volume bars looked like that? Whenever volume bars was big and green and obnoxious on the screen?
Will turn your volume down even though your dog definitely isn't laying on the remote. How you have to plug your controller into the player 2 port.
Lamb, what's
to beat
going on,
Psycho
Lehu?
Mantis.
Good to see you,
How
man.
X-Men makes you reset your Genesis to reset the in-game computer.
That was
How
clever as
Flowey
hell.
notices
I wish
you
more stuff like
restarted
that was-
before your last save to keep from killing.
What blows my mind about this, the Sega thing and having to restart it, this is how do you know to do that, right? If you didn't think about the fact that I have to actually restart the whole system, how do you know other than playground shooting the bull? How do you know? There was no Maybe it should have been a magazine of cheat codes or something like. But the way it was back then is you couldn't just go to the internet and get and just have the answer instantly. Like you had to figure some stuff out. And I just can't imagine being a kid playing X-Men and then it's saying restart the computer and then realizing, oh, the whole thing. I just burped as I said that. Oh, the whole thing.
Reset the in-game computer. How Flowey noticed.
All right, can I just pause this for a second? What the hell is this word y'all are spamming? I don't want to say it because I feel like this is a trap. This feels like some shit, man. This T word that ends with, what is this? What do I keep seeing this? Spencer, you texted me? Keep spamming you? Oh, okay. All right, guys, give me a big fat Y if whoever's saying this T word, I don't want to say it, I don't want to gratify them. If this is spam, let me know, and I'll mod someone, and we'll take care of it. We'll snipe them.
That you restarted before your last save to keep from killing tutorial. Things like this really start to encroach on your level of separation from the in-game world, and are so perturbing because of our very human social wiring. Have you ever been doing something really embarrassing, like unironically flossing in the kitchen while you wait on your Hot Pocket to finish cooking? Well...
Okay, so it's a Minecraft YouTuber. Quick, can I just do this real quick? Hold up. Hang on. Now I got to figure this out because I have to. First of all, Philly Woody, I'm gonna go ahead and mod you because you've been in my stream so many times. Hello, can I do it? Will it work? Now it's not gonna let me do it. Why? Thank you, Spencer. That's what I need. Why won't it let me mod you? Okay, well, it won't let me mod anybody right now. For whatever reason. Oh wait, maybe I can do it over here. Perhaps I can. Let me go. Stop moving, chat. Stop it. Stop it. All right, we're going to resume in just a second. They're spamming the... Okay, here we go. Add mod Spencer. Random Bozo, my boy. I'll go ahead and mod you. Add some mods real quick. I never stream on YouTube, so it's kind of different. On Twitch, it's a little bit of a different baby. You probably can't hear me. Okay, I got 2 people. I'll figure it out as we go. Spencer, take care of that, my boy. Or Random Bozo, either one of you. Let's continue. Sorry about that.
Beyond the point.
I hope that YouTuber's doing well, though. I'm sure it's not their fault. I hope nothing but love to the YouTuber Technoblade.
Of it being okay to unironically floss, only then to notice someone is watching you ruin your whole career. Or have you ever been complaining about a coworker only for that coworker to come cartwheeling around the corner and ask what you were talking about?
I really did floss for this video, didn't I?
Okay to unironically floss.
You know how weird it was to start the microwave with nothing in it? I didn't have anything in the microwave when I shot this.
Only then to notice someone is watching you ruin your whole career. Or have you ever been complaining about a coworker only for that coworker to come cartwheeling around the corner and ask what you were talking about? And with all the finesse of a Walmart bag holding 1 too many cans of leaking cat food said, "Oh, nothing." If so, you have felt the sensation of quickly shifting from a state of being inconspicuous and nameless to very much conspicuous.
I hate laughing at my own jokes, but how true is that shit? Like when you say something about somebody and of course they just happen to be right there and you're like, nothing. I'm just talking about spam. Spam is a delicious canned food. Is it not? Stupid. It's not good. It's not good at all. Anyways.
Conspicuous and very much named, which totally shifts our psyche all at once, creating that chills down your spine moment. It's not just sudden fear that spooky fourth wall breaks create. It's sudden vulnerability. We touched on this in an older video, but people behave very differently when they feel like they're being watched versus
it matters,
when they're
bro.
alone.
It matters.
This is sometimes called the audience effect and has been seen again and again in psych research, from people being more willing to donate to charity, choosing not to litter, or choosing to follow social norms when in the presence of others. This seems to ring true even when people simply feel like they're being watched, even if they really aren't. One study found that bike theft drops...
It's why you can't shake that feeling of like, I thought I heard something, or like feeling like the second you feel like you're being watched one time, it's hard for it to go away because you can't like confirm or deny. Like you're like, I don't know. Again, I did a video on that called The Power of Being Watched. That's the one with the giant eye. If you haven't seen that one, it's an older video. I wasn't as clean of an editor at that point in my YouTube tenure. But it was a really fun video. It's just a fun topic overall. I think you guys actually tend to take more... I get more viewers and more engagement on videos that are kind of creepy, talk about strange, like the more twisted side of things. So I need to do more of those in the future. I actually have one that I do want to talk about down the road that's less about games, and it is about games, but it's more about like how things are presented. But yeah, so I know you guys like the creepy. We're gonna try to explore that pretty soon in the future. Do people donate to charity less if online versus in person? I would guess they would do it more in person. I'll tell you this, this is anecdotal, but my wife works for a nonprofit, and they have a big event every year, and this is the first year they've had it like online because of COVID. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty confident that the numbers for this year were much lower, probably because there, of course, is confounding variables. COVID has sort of caused a lot of problems as far as like the amount of money people can readily donate to a charity. But at the same time, whenever you're all in person like that, there's almost like this pressure of like you're in the room, people are looking at you. You feel sort of a responsibility, like, oh, that table over there just donated this much. Ooh, I really feel like I should take care of something myself, right? I'm sure there is a little bit of a difference. So good question. That's what I would think. Flemerick, love you too. Let's keep it going.
Massively in areas with signs that simply warn that people may be watching.
Out of water.
Great fourth wall breaks capitalize on this by first allowing you to feel inconspicuous and comfortable, and then make you feel like you're being watched when your guard is down. Have you ever been playing a game
You gotta
that felt
establish
a
the
little
norm
awkward
first.
or uneasy when a character, without warning, stares directly into the camera? This feeling is due to something called the dual function of gaze.
I spelled this out. I literally put Gaze, but you fucks still wanted to put dual function of Gays in the comment section. Why? I'm trying to be mature. Do we have to go this route every time? Is everything a meme? Can we be? Damn it! All right, but yeah, dual function of gaze. Haha.
Where you look.
I had somebody comment once that said dual function of gaze. I would dual function of gaze at your Instagram all day. I was like, dog, I'm married. I don't swing that way. It's fine if you do, but I don't. And most importantly, I'm married, and I don't have an Instagram. So, anyways, moving on.
Has a dual purpose. One, of course, is to select what you see, but the other is a form of communication. And when there is someone around, you're accountable for where you're looking.
Don't you think you've seen enough?
Which is why you'll rarely feel uncomfortable
I had some people tell me that part scared them.
scrolling through someone's Facebook photos, but may want to avoid too much eye contact when around them. Now, when you watch a movie or play a game, assuming you're alone, which you should be right now, you're free to look wherever on the screen you like without judgment.
When I tell you that the most difficult part of video editing is finding clips like this, it was one sentence, and I was talking about this yesterday, actually. You guys will find this very interesting. I was talking about this yesterday whenever I was doing the commentary on the, I think yesterday we did, on Patreon, we did the, damn, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was the Internet Checkpoint video. We did a commentary on that yesterday. And one of the things I talked about was how do you occupy space in a video? A lot of content creators, especially gaming content creators, I think, fall to the temptation of they're talking, and it's basically just like 30 seconds of gameplay, which is fine. That still is moving pictures. It still keeps people's eyes on screen. But what I like to do with my videos is add that level of polish so that like every single sentence, what I'm saying like directly matches for the most part what's on screen. The hardest part of video editing for me is just finding shit to put on certain finding shit to put on certain sentences. So like on this sentence, I said, but you're free to look wherever you want. This is the perfect clip for that. And it took me a good 10 minutes to like come up with it, right? But whenever you're doing it, you know, whatever this is, a 17, 18-minute video, suddenly that 10 minutes explodes because you constantly have to have the right thing on screen at all times. That to me is the true curse or weight to bear as a video editor, and or at least to me. So take that for what you will. Maybe it's interesting to you. Jack, what's going on? What's going on, dude? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're not at work. I know work is it's too cold to be out today, man. It's too cold and windy. But I guess you're inside, so that's fine. Yeah, so that's Aaron says, yeah, you talked about that. That's why it's hard to find clips everywhere. Exactly. You have to find something that matches, something that's appropriate, something that's not going to get copyright claimed. That's the art of the trade, guys.
Like without judgment. You won't make Peter Kavinsky uncomfortable if you get lost in his eyes, as we all have. However, when the fourth wall begins to crumble,
I actually hated that movie. My wife loved it. I didn't hate it. It was fine. It was an okay movie. My wife was really into the I forgot the name of the movie, but He is a handsome fellow.
or one of the characters looks directly at the camera, like at the end of the movie Psycho or in the middle of the visual novel Psycho, you may suddenly feel like you should avoid eye contact, even though no one is really there. Which is probably why this video for practicing eye contact has almost 2 million views and is actually kinda tough. And to me, this is one of the most viscerally human responses someone can have to media. But my friends, I think you all know that fourth wall breaks can get even more primal than this. So to wrap this up, let's talk about the creme de la creme of fourth wall breaks in video games, the deepest layer, when the characters know a little too much.
Ooh, and it gets so creepy too. I wanted to stop and answer a question. First of all, Grape says definitely one of my favorite channels. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Grape. I appreciate that. Tell Strawberry and Banana that I love them. They're my favorites. We got Leo Pitts who says, okay, yeah, Leo Pitts says, how much research do you have to do for a video like this? A lot, because a lot of times what happens, I usually start with a question, or I start with something that I think I have noticed. So like the last video was about taking a break. I noticed that. That was just something I kind of noticed. I thought, it's weird that you can just come back to this and then sort of understand how to beat the boss suddenly, and it's easy. And so I was like, well, how do I answer this question? So then I look into research and I find out, okay, well, maybe that's something to do with, conditioning. Maybe that's something to do with operant conditioning. Oh, extinction burst. That's right. I remember reading about that. Okay, I go find a study. Okay, now I see exactly how that could apply to the situation. Well, what about coming back to it? Oh, that's right, sports psychology. So it kind of unfolds like that. I have an idea of what I think is the case, and then I'll try to find research that will support it. And a lot of times I don't. A lot of times I find research to the contrary, and I have to scrap the video, or I make a video and sort of say, this is what I thought was the case or not. But typically that's how it goes. It does take a while. It's about a 4-week process for every video. I say about a week for a script and research, about a week to like figure out what clips I'm going to put in, about a week to make sure I get the voiceover down, and then about a week to actually finish the video. And of course, the last 2 weeks, that fluctuates. But it's typically about a month-long process, and there are some rest days between the videos in there as well. So hope that answers your question. One Shot's amazing. From what I've heard, I still haven't played that game. I have so many games to play. My backlog is like...
So back in '79, Arthur Beeman and his colleagues ran a study on Halloween where they'd observe kids to see if they would follow written instructions to only take one piece of candy from bowls at random houses in a given area. At houses where a mirror was set up right by the bowl such that the kids could see their own reflection, trick-or-treaters were much more likely to follow the instructions and only take one candy. The bowls with instructions but no mirror had far more candy taken on average. And this has been replicated in adults as well, using not just mirrors but also monitors displaying the subject's image. Studies have found evidence that seeing your own reflection or even yourself on camera can affect your likelihood to follow rules, choose not to litter, and even facilitate healthy dietary decisions.
Now, what's interesting about that, and I just had this thought just now, this is hot off the presses. I wonder how that affects third-person games versus first-person games. I wonder how that affects, like, if you can see your character or not. Because I feel like when I see my character, again, I feel like I'm so concerned about like what I'm wearing, like how do I look cool, but I'm also like, do I want to be a good person and stuff. But if I'm in first-person view, I almost feel like, I don't know. That's interesting. I need to think more about that. How does first-person versus third-person affect your decision-making? You heard it here first. That could be a thing. Yeah, I wanted to get that out of my mind. Somebody says never played Doki Doki. Great game. But if you know sort of what happens, it does kind of ruin the fun because half of the fun is like, oh fuck, this is not a dating sim.
These studies have been so influential, in fact, that you've probably seen businesses put up a monitor.
I might. Someone said, hold on, who was it? SCXTT says might put a mirror in my fridge now. Dude, I'm telling you, there are people that will do. Oh, this guy's smile is creepy as hell. Oh my god, look at that smile. No, keep it out. Yeah, there are people that, because they're trying to help themselves diet, they'll look themselves in the mirror. That's why when you get done, no, I'm not going to say that. Okay, maybe I will. There's like, no, I'm not going to say it. We're going to move on.
Show you walking into the store in plain sight at the entrance, or even one of these mirror monitors.
I want to say it though. Can I make this joke? That's why anytime maybe you have ever gone 1v1 with your lunch meat, you immediately look in the mirror afterwards and you're like, oh God, who am I? So At least I've done that in the past. I don't know about y'all. Anyways, let's move on.
Of the Target self-checkout to discourage shoplifting. And it makes sense. When we see our reflection, it's like we're reminded of what we look like to the outside world and that everything we do is seen. It's sort of the same sensation as the audience effect, except now that audience includes us and we're hyper aware of our every move.
Monospace Magic, thank you so much. Good to see you. Hope you're doing all right.
So when Psycho Mantis reads your memory card and sees that you've been playing Castlevania, your reaction is probably...
Nia Rules says, does the mirror trick also work for doing schoolwork? I would think it would possibly. If you're worried about like procrastination, it might. It could also, and I didn't talk about this, but this is actually the case for a lot of like forms of therapy. And I don't get too much into this because I'm not a therapist, but I do know that there is a certain amount of, anytime you expose yourself to something that's supposed to treat something, it can make it better, but it can also make it much, much worse. So you can see yourself in the mirror and then go, oh God, I'm so ugly today. Oh, I don't like the way I look. And then you could just get worse and procrastinate more. So it does make you aware. It can make you go, oh, maybe I should make better decisions, but it can also make you make horribly worse decisions depending on, you know, how much of on a slippery slope you are that day. So if that ever happened to y'all, the mirror thing after you get it, it's happened to me before. But anyways, let's move on.
Something like, how the hell does he know that?
You're just like, I don't like me anymore.
And we're hyper aware of our every move. So when Psycho Mantis reads your memory card and sees that you've been playing Castlevania, your reaction is probably something like, how the hell does he know that? Why does he know that? Does he know who I am? I don't like this at all. How does he, what? What is this?
Now I'll read more deeply into your soul.
Wait, can you see my browser history? You see, games have the unique opportunity to break the fourth wall and then make a huge leap to identifying something super specific about you, which makes you acutely aware that you, yes, you, are a part of this and that your actions are not anonymous. When Monica reads your Steam account and calls you by your actual name, it's not just encroaching on your anonymity, it's kicking the door in. It's putting your hamster ball through a wood chipper. We go from a comfortable bystander simply pressing buttons to a participant in the action, responsible for everything that's been happening to these characters.
Unseen Master, that's good to know. That's interesting. I'm going to keep that chewing in the back of my mind.
And they know that. They've been your guinea pigs this whole time, and you're just now being made startlingly aware of it.
So play nice.
I was so proud of this part because it just fits so nicely. I will also say for those of you that are, because I do have a handful of folks that do this, because a lot of people, it turns out, want to make games because games are cool. For those aspiring game devs out there, if you want to do a video game like this, imagine all those words but closer together. If you want to do another game like this and you want to do something that breaks the fourth wall, you want to identify something, one thing you have to be careful about and understand is like you have to be able to draw information about that player, right? So like Psycho Mantis looked at a memory card. I think Doki Doki reads either your Doki Doki reads your computer. I don't think it reads your Steam account. I think it reads your computer account, but you have to figure out, you have to watch those and like the permissions and stuff before you play the game. You have to be able to access that information. I talked about the webcam, and I think somebody mentioned in the comment section not too long ago that there are games that like can access your webcam. So just navigate all those things carefully if you want to do a fourth wall breaking identification of the player to give them a spook. So one strange thing is you don't see your own body when looking forward. So when you see yourself in the mirror, you remember that people can see you, something you've never done. Yeah, exactly, Waluigi W. Absolutely. Like whenever you suddenly see yourself in the mirror, it's like, oh yeah, I'm visible too. And not that you didn't know you weren't visible too, it just wasn't like startlingly aware. You weren't thinking about it so much. It's like how you know your nose is there, but your eyes can see it, but your eyes don't actually register it until you start thinking about it. It's like breathing. You don't think about the fact that you're breathing until someone says, you are now breathing manually, and then suddenly you have to breathe manually for a second until you forget and move on. So it's a similar vibe as that.
Beautifully twisted moments where all at once, you don't feel like your actions are influencing some random characters in some game. You're affecting a whole other reality that is keenly aware of you and the real world. I won't spoil too much because I haven't actually played this game just yet, but in the original version of One Shot, you must complete the game in one shot, otherwise the world you leave behind when you close the window will change for good. Oh, and the main character
Isn't that just
calls
awesome?
you by name,
Such a
which
cool
kinda
freaking
cuts
idea.
deep if you mess up. Spec Ops The Line doesn't actually identify you in any way, but it does subtly
Sorry.
change the loading screen menus after you incinerate.
Sorry for the
wrong
breathing
people,
thing.
asking you haunting questions like, do you feel like a hero yet? Or why should you care about killing since this isn't real? Undertale hits you with a pretty similar dose of guilt by again addressing you directly and making it starkly clear that your actions matter to this reality. I feel like if Undertale did something like Metal Gear Solid or Doki
you
Doki and
imagine, bro?
specifically
Could you
identified
imagine?
you, it would be the magnum opus of a fourth wall breaking guilt trip. Like, can you imagine if Flowey called you by name, or if mid-fight Sans read your PC or your console memory and said something like... Imagine if Flowey called you by name, or if mid-fight Sans read your PC or your console memory and said something like... If a game could somehow get your image on screen when
I
shaming
was
you for
so
being
proud of that
vulnerable-
joke, and people laughed at it too. And the fact that what actually, as a YouTuber, one of the most satisfying things is when someone comments on something much later in the video, because that lets you know, oh, people are actually watching this long enough to have seen that part. So that's a really comforting thing. So that is by far one of my favorite moments of any video I've ever done. Right, Karen? Yeah, exactly, Karen. As if it's a Karen playing. Can you just imagine like a poor mom playing Undertale, like not knowing what was going on the entire time, but somehow could continue? Anyways,
person, I think it would really have that target checkout line effect of making you hyper aware of yourself and add to the shame of whatever you just did in the game.
R.I.P.
I never
Papyrus.
thought we would be looking to Target's checkout line for game design inspiration, but here we are.
Moments like
Back
these
before the
flip the
haircut.
script from an anonymous person on the couch just playing a game for a good time to a very real specific person influencing what now feels like a very real specific world. And to me, this harkens back to that moment where all at once the masked audience went from jeering laughter to stunned
And this is where we bring it full circle. You talk about the masks at the beginning, you close the video out with the masks. That is
horror.
that's bringing it home, folks.
Incognito decisions had shockingly real consequences. The fourth wall isn't just about keeping a story separate from the real world, it's also about protecting us from any form of social burden or liability, especially in games.
You ever notice that? How like in a game, if something goes wrong, someone's getting hurt, you can just be like, whatever. Doesn't matter. You keep riding your horse past it. Meanwhile, they're getting like mauled by a bear, beaten up by Mongols. In the real world, you're like, oh, I feel like I should help. I feel like I should probably. Oh, hey, we got Mr. AJ DJ says one of my top 4 favorite YouTubers. Love the vids. Mr. AJ DJ, appreciate that. So glad to hear you're a fan. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for busting in with Monica busting the fourth wall. I'm glad there haven't been too many of these because that would be really, it does kind of break everything down. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you.
And when it's broken, we may feel more than just charmed. We may feel more than just spooked. We may very well feel exposed.
She's like, oh my God, I can't believe I've done this. Also, let me just say I put the mic in the wrong place here. I filmed it and then got to the end and I was so tired and ready to be done that I just left it. But you'll notice my voice is different here and that's because I fucked it up.
Oh, hey there. What are you still doing here? Video's over. Oh, you must want a post-credit scene. Okay, I got you. Well, joke's on you, my friend. We haven't even got to the credits yet. And I'm creatively drained, so you're not getting one.
By the way, every time I look over there and pause, it's because I'm reading my script. I didn't just ad-lib all this. I can't do anything ad-lib, except apparently this stream and sometimes other streams. But yeah, whenever it's anything like this that I feel like has to be scripted, I can't just ad-lib.
Oh, why am I creatively drained, you ask? Well, to be honest, I kind of blew my load on Animal Crossing. I mean, the video did really well.
Phrasing.
That, but kind of out of juice.
That was because the previous video did amazing compared to anything I've ever done. So like I thought the Animal Crossing video was going to be the video. No, this was the video. And little did I know that at the time.
I'm kind of like that empty Capri Sun that you inflate and then put on the sidewalk and stomp so it pops really loud. And let's be honest, you know, the video you just watched, it was mediocre at best. It wasn't my best work. So I'm going to take a few days. I'm going to recharge my batteries a little bit and enjoy myself. I'm going to play a little bit of this. You know?
That was such a good game. God, I loved it. I never played original Final Fantasy, but after playing Final Fantasy VII, but after playing the remake, I immediately went and played 7, the original, all the way through, and it is by far one of the best experiences of my life. I loved every second of it. It doesn't feel like it aged, and I know obviously I didn't play it back then, but I did have a cousin who played it, and I watched them play it a little bit, and it just feels, I don't know, something about that game just feels timeless to me. But that's just my opinion.
The same. So, anyways, no post credit scene. In fact, I tell you what, instead of a post credit scene, I'll just give you this video
Lamhood.
of a man playing the bear river. How's that sound? Yeah, you like that? Okay, we're gonna go with that. Cue the bear.
Hey, thank you so much, Kanye Brandy. I appreciate that. All right, and then that's that, and that's how many patrons we had. Now we have obviously a lot more now, so thank you, patrons. And of course, if you want to see more of these bad boys, if you want to see me do more of these, we can certainly do that. We're going to be doing it on Patreon. Like I said, I do these about twice a year. We're not done, by the way. I'm just letting you know. If you want to see more of these commentaries on older videos, we do have a good time. It's obviously a much smaller chat, so it's not as much like trying to read through a ton of people. It's more like, oh, there's, you know, just a handful, and I can actually react to everybody, and we can have a full conversation. It's a lot more fun that way. If you're just not getting here, I do want to go ahead and cap this off by saying real quick, just know that in the first 2 seconds of my most popular video ever, there is a massive typo, and that it's still there today. You can go check it out. The following has 2 eyes. It feels bad, man. So let's go ahead and take a look at some things that maybe didn't make it in. Actually, in this one, there wasn't a ton that didn't necessarily make it in. Everything was referenced at least to a tiny degree. I maybe didn't go into detail about a lot of stuff. One thing that I was looking at this earlier, one thing I did find interesting, there is, when you think about children and how they understand fantasy, the fantasy world and the real world, apparently children are pretty good at understanding that, you know, what they're watching is not real, but their life is real. Like, they understand the real world versus the fake world. But what's interesting is that if you, in this study 1 found that although both adults and young children distinguishing between within world and across world types of character build relationships, the children make an unexpected mistake. I know you guys probably can't read this. Let me zoom in. The children make an unexpected mistake. They often claim that Batman thinks Robin is make-believe. So they sort of have this idea in their mind that, like, Batman knows what I know. Batman knows he's fake. Batman knows Robin is fake. Which is kind of bizarre. Kids think about things differently. And I think this is probably a byproduct of something called egocentrism, which I believe is before, I have obviously Wikipedia up because I just rushed and grabbed this. I forget exactly what the age is, but essentially very early on in child's lives, they have something called egocentrism, where they believe every mind is like them. If they're upset, they believe that everyone is upset. If a friend doesn't, if you don't know something, you assume, or if you didn't know something, you assume everybody didn't know something. There's a study, I think, if I remember right, where I think it's like a 3-year-old will not know. If a 3-year-old opens a box and sees that there are no crayons in it and then hands it off to a friend, he will then think, how did it go? Do I have it pulled up? Hang on. I'm trying to remember exactly how this went. Did I close the, I had it, how does this go? It was like if he hands it off, I clearly can't remember what this damn study is. But anyways, it's interesting because kids don't think the same way we do, at least as far as reality goes. We got a VHH Dio game is busting in with a donation of $2. Your videos are great. The typos are a plus. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I hope that these videos are endearing, even if they are obviously flawed. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I wish I could remember exactly how that study went. It was like I'll remember it later. I'll remember it the second the stream is over. Let me go ahead and pull up the video on YouTube, and I'll look at some comments as well. I'm also happy if you guys want to go ahead and spam me some like questions about the video. If you guys want to spam me some questions about the video, I am happy to answer. Let me run over here to, actually I got to hop off in about 10 minutes because I got to get back to work, but we still got some time to kill. Let's see. Yeah, so most people, if I remember this right from the comment section, most people were just disgusted that, oh no, I don't want this. I want the comment section. But they moved it because YouTube is always changing things. Yeah, gets kidnapped. Yes, this is comedy. Okay. MJ says, hey, Daryl, love your content. Since you play Genshin Impact, would you be interested in discussing gambling and gacha games? Hot damn, MJ, you read my mind. MJ, that's exactly what I've been thinking. I do want to do a gacha game type psych of play in the future. I actually rage quitted Genshin like 2 or 3 days ago because I spent like all my free summons hoping I could just get some sort of good character, something that was higher tier, because I have a lot of different characters, but they're all low tier, and I'm trying to get through whatever the abyss. I'm trying to unlock the fire girl with their panda. But yeah, I would love to do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. There's a lot of psychology that goes into gambling and sort of the sunk cost analysis, or sunk cost fallacy rather. So there's a lot of things that go into it. I'm happy to do one of those in the future, and I certainly will. It's just a matter of when, not if. Favorite pro wrestler and why Undertaker? Favorite pro wrestler and why Undertaker? Undertaker is one of a kind, man. Videos are heavily underrated. Favorite fourth wall break other than Monica? It might be Flowey when he knows that you killed Toriel and soft reset of the game. Is it correct that children won't warn others of problems because they assume that they know as well? Yes. I haven't tested this and I haven't read where that is true, but based on what I know about egocentrism, yeah, they probably would behave in that manner. Gotta go, Leo. Thank you for dropping by. 0.6% is a lie. I agree, MJ. How much editing practice experience did you have before starting the channel? Zero. I did, before the channel, I had an old YouTube channel way back in the day where I made replica wrestling belts out of cardboard, but I didn't really edit those. I just like cut it, put the next clip, cut it, put the next clip. So I started out, what you see on the very first video I have is all I got. And I just learned sort of from there. So I've taught myself this whole way. Man, I got to slow it down here. The Gotcha guys have not accepted your request. Absolutely not. They don't believe in me. I'm not God's favorite. Jailing is good, which annoys me because I don't like her play style much. Yeah, I did the little test run with her, and she was really good. Please do that. Would love to see a video about Gotcha games. Upcoming games are you most looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Hyrule Warriors. I'm looking forward to this. This is not an upcoming game by any means, but I haven't played it. I have a buddy of mine that I'm going to play it with on the 1st of January. Me and like 2 other buddies are going to start it up 1st of January. Playing P5 for the first time. Very excited about that. Let's see. Kind of related to ensuring VR games become popular, how fourth wall breaking could be changed by the medium. Oh, God. The possibilities are endless with VR, to be honest with you. Especially with VTubers being on the rise. Like, can you imagine a VTuber integration with a video game? And maybe my mind's going too many places, but the point is, yeah, VR there's so many things that can happen. Brandon Bozo, thank you for dropping by. Let's see. Okay, I tried to scroll back up, but it didn't with me. No Philly Woody, I will not repeat what you just typed again. Persona 5 is a huge time sink, but so good. Yeah, I heard it's like a 100-hour game if you really want to do it right. If someone would make a game and ask you to do, if someone were to make a game and ask you to voice someone, would you do it? If the script was good, if I thought I was up to the task, I would have an open mind about it. I wouldn't say yes necessarily, but I would have an open mind about it. I'd hear them out and I'd give it a good thought. Let's see. Love your videos, my man. As a psych student myself, your videos are fascinating. Glad to have finally caught a stream. Dad Hawk, so glad you were here. Best of luck in your studies. Take your time, study, sleep. Study, then sleep. Make sure you get the sleep. Otherwise, your study goes out the window. No Boomer Boom. Boomer K Boom 57. What's going on, man? Yeah, we will not say that. We're not doing it again. I shouldn't have mentioned VTubers. Never played any Persona games before. VTubers already play VR games. The Oculus Quest 2 has been rooted. Interesting. Saver. Here we go. Some companies do monetization in gacha games as well, but MiHoYo, the developers of Genshin Impact, are doing it wrong. There is one that I like. Honestly, I refuse to spend money on gacha games. Like I'm playing obviously on mobile because that's where pretty much all of them are. I play Dragalia Lost. and it is very generous, and I like it, and the game's okay. But my problem with gacha games is I don't enjoy playing them. What I do like about Genshin though is I actually enjoy playing the game. Like if they took the gacha out, I would still probably enjoy playing it. But the fact that it's in there pisses me off, and I love it at the same time. You know how it goes. I love this comment. Give a quote. There's a quote saying, "Give a man a mask and he will show his true face." That is so true. Geez, fourth wall breaks would be horrible in the Sims games. That would be literally the video game equivalent of the Toy Story scene where they're like play nice and they all come to life and attack them. Could you imagine if your Sims just started attacking you? Let's see. I think the main reason your scary style vids do so well is because you get recommended if people watch channels like Nexpo and Barely Sociable. Yeah, it's just a whole corner of YouTube, man. It's a rabbit hole. People love it. People just really get a kick out of being spooked, and they get a kick out of things that are twisted. Because, like I said, when I really was first starting to get going on YouTube, my biggest like inspiration was Mark Brown, GMTK. I was trying to make things that are educational, and I still educate now. Like that, there's still very much like a vein of that in what I do. But now I've sort of started to realize people also like to have fun. As it turns out, people also like to find out things that are twisted. They like to learn things that like maybe they feel like they shouldn't know, but they kind of want to know anyways. You know, psychology has a dark side, and I think it's fun to exploit that a little bit. Honestly, gacha or loot box games elements turn me away from a game. I totally get that. Daryl, you should play through and make a video on the game called You and Me and Her. Not going to say why because I don't want to spoil anything. The game's called You and Me and Her. Let me go write that down. You and Me and Her. You and Me and Her. You and Me and Her. Okay, cool. This looks like a Kimi to Kanojo no Koi. This is an anime game. You, sir, or madam, have piqued my interest. Gacha games are fun in the beginning, then they get super tedious because so that's the thing. All gacha games, unfortunately, have an expiration date. They can all add new content, and that's great. But if you ever want to get to like a certain point that you feel like you should be at, you're eventually either going to have to spend money or spend a ton of time grinding. And I don't spend money on these games. I grind, and eventually I will get tired and want to go to something quality like Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm trying to finish up right now. I think I'm about to wrap it up, guys, because I got to get back to work. Daryl, have you played Danganronpa? Everyone wants me to play that, but I'm just not super big on visual novels. I will give Danganronpa a chance. I will say that. I've watched a friend play the beginning. I just rewatched Game Grumps play a little bit of it. It's just so much not game at the beginning, and that is frustrating for me. But it goes how it goes. A good Psych VR series is when they. A good Psych VN series is the When They Cry series. When They Cry series, but since they include no choices, more something to experience like a book. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Is like there's two types of games in my mind. There's a game you play, and there's a game that you just soak up or experience, right? Holy hell, PHP, is that a lot? What? I don't know what currency that is. Hang on a minute. Y'all are going to see what I see in just a second. And then after that, I think I got to go because number one, I got to get back to work. And number two, I've really got to go drain my lizard, if you know what I'm saying. I got to take a Wiz Khalifa. Play Hellbound. It's a really good RPG that actually has consequences. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I don't know what this currency is. Is that $1.25 or is that 125? This is Jin Chan. Jin says, a lot of gamers that don't play gachas are mad with Genshin since they are not familiar with how gacha games works. Hope your channel gets bigger. Well, first of all, thank you a ton, Jin Chan. I really, truly appreciate that. That does make sense. There are a lot of people that come off the gacha games off mobile. They know exactly what they're getting into with Genshin, right? They're getting Breath of the Waifu. Did you send the typo with the same amount of money? Look, man, Jinshan, first of all, thank you so much. I hope you're not a chargeback person because that would make me very sad. But thank you so much. He did. My man dropped $125 on a typo. Jinshan, if you do not charge this back, you're the real MVP. Everybody get a pog for Jin Chan. I gotta wrap this up. I didn't expect this. Okay, thank you. Thank God. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Great. I'm so glad. Jin Chan, thank you. Seriously. Now that I see what PHP is, I wasn't sure if that was what currency that was. It looks like it's $258 US. Thank you so much for that. Genuinely, thank you. Guys, I gotta wrap it up. Filipino peso. Oh, Philippine peso. Okay, that makes sense. I gotta roll, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being here. This was a good time. I enjoyed doing this. Like I said, if you want to see more of these, check me out on Patreon. Again, $1 a month. I'm also going to potentially open up an option that you can just pay for a year for $12. There's a way that you can do that on Patreon now. I just have to actually make that happen. I have to like activate it. $1 a month gets you into these. Feel free to come join the 100 plus folks that I already have over there for that and some other bonus content. I have some other projects I'm working on as well. It's not just this. There's also voting and polls. And yeah, we got some other stuff in the works. So anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it with that. Take care of yourselves. Kit the Cat, Pizza Pants, Aaron Lucen, Ben Crendell. Oh, we got Anubis Statue, In Sky, Boomer K Boom earlier. Guys, hope you're doing well. I'm going to go ahead and hop out of here. Take care of yourselves. And have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. Had you see me try to wink? I was like, all right. Bye, guys.